Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. In this daily editorial, I am getting an update from Labrador Gold, traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol LAB, and on the OTCQX under the symbol NKOSF. I am chatting with the president and CEO, Roger Moss. Labrador Gold exploring at the Kingsway project in Newfoundland. The company has an ongoing 100,000 meter drill program, which we'll get Roger to quickly recap where it stands, as I know the company is nearing the completion of that program. But first, Roger, I want to touch base on a couple news releases that came out in October. First being drill results from this Dropkick zone. Now this was really kind of the first stage of drilling at Dropkick, and overall 12 of the 15 holes drilled at Dropkick intersected gold mineralization, with 4 holes containing visible gold. Roger, summarize what you drilled at Dropkick here and some of the key results, please.
Yeah, sure, Cory. It's great to be back. It's been a while. Nice to have the opportunity to update your listeners again. Yeah, I think Dropkick was a really nice surprise. As you mentioned, we drilled 15 holes and 12 intersected gold, and we had some visible gold in there. We got some high grade mineralization, but we also got some really lengthy intersections of lower grade mineralization. I think the highlight in that news release you referred to was about 20 meters of just under 2 grams a ton, which was pretty nice to see. And that's within 60 meters of surface. So that 20 meters is probably between 40 and 60 meters. So a very nice near surface intersection there. The other thing about that particular hole is that it is one of 2 at the northernmost end of Dropkick. So Dropkick is actually open both to the north and to the south, and on both ends there are some really significant gold mineralization. That 20 meters of just under 2 grams is one of the holes in the north. Another one that we had, it intersected 7 different gold mineralized intervals over a downhole length of 164 meters. So lots of gold right there in the north. Down in the south, both the southernmost holes that we drilled at Dropkick contained visible gold. So definitely something that we want to go back to and drill more. We know that there's high grades at Dropkick as well. I think we got up to 30 grams over about half a meter in one of the holes. So it's definitely a good target to go forward. Only issue there, the holes that we've drilled to date, they were the holes that we were allowed to drill on the permit. So if we go back there, which I do intend to do, we will be looking at re-permitting Dropkick for further drill holes.
Okay, I do want you to quickly recap too where some of the best holes were located at Dropkick in terms of their relation to the Appleton Fault, because I think most people that follow the stories in Newfoundland know just how important this Appleton Fault is. It runs through almost the whole project. So how do some of the better holes, how do they relate to that Appleton Fault, please?
All of the holes that we drilled at Dropkick are on the west side of the Appleton Fault. They are probably about 100 meters or so to the west of the Appleton Fault zone. And I know in the past there has been a debate about whether the east or the west is better of the Appleton Fault zone, and we've had good success on the west. Newfound Gold originally had exceptional grades coming out on the east side of the fault, but more recently they've also been getting some spectacular results on the west side of the fault. So I'm not sure whether that debate is done now or not, but it does appear that both sides of the Appleton Fault are very prospective. In terms of where we have drilled, I think we've drilled, we drilled Dropkick, Pristine, and Big Vein all along the west side of the Appleton Fault and had significant gold in all of those occurrences. The other one that we drilled along the Appleton Fault was Golden Glove, We did get gold there. That was on the east side, but it was a little disappointing. And I'll get to that in a little bit when we talk about our drilling going forward.
Okay. Well, one other thing that I do want to ask is, because you have so many targets that you have now put holes into, about a handful of them throughout this project, where in your eyes is Dropkick ranking amongst all of them?
Oh, that's a tough one. Off the top of my head, I would probably say second after Big Vein. Yeah, I would say of the ones that we've drilled, Dropkick is probably looking like it's in second place. Certainly in terms of strike extent, it extends over about 360 meters now, and that's certainly the longest strike extent after Big Vein, which is 720 meters. So in that respect, also it's still open, and we do have some good high grades in there. Yeah, I would say it's number two.
Okay. Let's also talk about the other news release that came out October 19th that announced the company received permits to drill targets in the Gap and Kingsway South areas. Take us through what the importance is of these permits and when you could get a drill in these areas.
Well, I think, I've been talking about it for quite a while now. If we start with the Gap, it seems like a no-brainer that if we have gold at Big Vein and we have gold at Pristine, which is about 700 meters to the north, then we should be testing in between there. So that's what we've permitted there, and what we call the gap between Big Vein and Pristine. And we have targets in there, but for the most part, what we're doing is we're targeting the Black Shale North Fault, which runs through Big Vein and controls the mineralization in the Big Vein zone proper, as well as has some effect on the HTC zone, which is the highest grade zone at Big Vein. So we're going to be targeting that, moving north towards Pristine, and similarly coming south from Pristine, we have the Disco Fault, which is controlling some of the mineralization at Pristine, and that's what we'll be following down to the south. So we have these two structures. Certainly the Black Shale Fault North is a splay off the Appleton Fault, so we're confident that that is a gold associated splay, and something that we can target as we move up towards the north. So that's the idea for the Gap. Kingsway South takes in pretty much, I think it's about 3 kilometers from Big Vein down to the southern boundary. And it's not an area that we've done very much with, because there's a lot of overburden down there. But what we have done recently is we've had some ground geophysics done in that area between Big Vein and the south, and we have some targets from that. But more importantly, what we found was, and again, this is just walking around on the property, mapping and prospecting. We found this occurrence called Knobby. I think it was about 2 months ago now. And Knobby is a quartz vein. We sampled it, and there were grab samples that were up to about 47 grams a ton of gold. That was in one of the veins. There are 3 veins that are subparallel, and the geos followed those veins out for about 200 meters at surface. So the important thing about Knobby is, well, there are 2 things really. One is that it's the first indication that we have of gold being between Big Vein and the southern boundary. And other than Golden Glove, I'm talking now again, still talking about the west side of the Appleton Fault. But the other important thing about Knobby is that it strikes east-west. And if you remember some of the maps that we have, and some of the maps that Newfound Gold have, most of our occurrences, in fact, all of them, Big Vein, Pristine, and Dropkick, they tend to be north-northeast to north trending veins. Knobby is east-west, and we know from Newfound's work that some of those east-west veins are more prolific in terms of gold mineralization than are the northeasterly trending veins. Why that is, I don't know. They do tend to cross-cut the stratigraphy, and they may be more of an extensional type of vein, and perhaps that opens up the system to allow more gold to get in there. So that's really one of the focuses for us in the southern part of the property, and it's where we are focusing our efforts initially. Just to go way down to the south, a quick chat about Golden Glove. We drilled it back in 2021, I believe it was. We didn't get the results we were looking for, so we left it. But now we've found another quartz vein down there. It's subparallel to Golden Glove, and we believe that Golden Glove and this other vein up to the north are also trending east-west. So we have a new model, if you like, for potential mineralization down at Golden Glove, and we'll be testing that as well.
Okay, so still a lot of drilling to come, and hey, we all know how important actual drill results are. Can I just get a little bit more information too on this disco fault? This is the first time I've heard of it. It looks like it's right beside Pristine, as you said. Any more color you can give us on that disco fault then, please?
It's basically the gold mineralization sits in the hang wall of that fault. It's kind of like what we call the Black Shale Fault down at Big Vein, except that for whatever reason it dips in the opposite direction. I do believe that it does control some of the gold mineralization at Pristine, and certainly the footwall of that fault seems to be pretty barren, so that we haven't found any gold mineralization below the fault. All the gold mineralization that we have found seems to be in the hang wall of the fault, so which is also on the Appleton fault side of the fault. So I mean, maybe what's happening is this fault, this disco fault, and the Appleton fault are coming together at depth, and the gold mineralization is kind of pushed up in between the two of them.
Okay. Hey, thanks for that, Roger. Look, I'm going to post a figure from one of the news releases just so everyone can get a better understanding of where all these targets are, where all these areas are in the bigger picture of the project. Just a quick update on that 100,000 meter program then. Approximately how far are you through that program, and where are the drills turning currently?
Yeah, we are probably right now about 87,000 meters through it. I think we probably have 13,000 meters left to go. And yeah, good idea to post a map, because we are sort of we do have quite a lot of those occurrences along the Appleton Fault. But we hope that Nobby will develop into another one, of course. In terms of where the drills are turning right now, we have started drilling at Nobby and at the Gap. I believe we've drilled 3 holes so far at the Gap, and that's stepping out from Big Vein towards the north along that Black Shale North Fault. More importantly, I think from our kind of new direction, we've drilled 6 holes at Nobby, and we've intersected the vein in all those holes, so that's good news. Some of the holes also had some multiple veins, so it wasn't just the one vein. There was more than one vein in some of the holes. So we're looking forward to results from that. And with Nobby, the idea there is just to step out from east to west. We're on about 25 meter centers.
All right, then, Roger, before I get you out of here, quick update. Cash in the bank. Where does the company stand?
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate. We have around $9 million left in the bank. So yeah, we're well funded to do the rest of this program and more going into next year.
Okay, Roger, thank you very much for this update. I'll post a link to the Labrador Gold website and that news section so you can read over the recent news. I'll also follow up as more drill results are released. Please send me any questions you have for Roger. My email address is fleck@kereport.com. Roger, thank you very much for this update. We'll touch base again on the back of some more news.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Cory.